Hi, Lee.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So tell us, you've been with Fresh Air for about a year now. Tell us, what were you doing up until then? What brought you here?
Yeah, before then, I had been at another production company for about 3 years, and they were probably more focused on radio. So I was working across a couple of strands for Radio 2, for example, kind of ad hoc Radio 4 projects. We also did quite a lot of podcasting as well, and I always knew that was kind of where my passion was. So I was very fortunate to kind of find you guys, and now that's what I spend all my time on, which is brilliant.
And your love is arts and theatre. That's where you come from in your interests. How does that dovetail with what you do with us?
I think with both those things, your audience has to be at the forefront. It's how you have a creative mission or have a story you want to tell, and then it's almost how you bring that vision or the client's vision to the audience and bring them both together so they meet in the middle. And maybe that means, going back and changing your original idea, or just kind of restructuring but keeping your audience in mind the whole way through.
And you were the first assistant producer we brought in to sort of work across all the projects, and you probably work on more. You do bits of work on more projects than anybody else. How's that been in the last year to really sort of familiarise yourself with everything that's going on?
Yeah, it's been really good. It's makes for a really varied workload because I kind of do, as you say, I do a little bit on most of our projects, which I really like. And what I really like is, I get to work with all our producers because we have quite a big extended team. So yeah, it's really been about learning, getting to know the producers and getting to know the clients, and just realising both those groups' work styles, what's the best way I can kind of adapt to them and deliver work for them, or research or audiograms, whatever it is, doing it in a way that's as useful for them as possible and fits with their pre-existing kind of approach to work.
And lay that out a bit for us. What does an assistant producer do at Fresh Air?
I would say I slot in at any point in the production process where the producer or the client needs me. So that can be helping with research in pre-production, or helping with booking in guests or booking recordings, and then actually running those recordings, giving edit support, and then more at the end of the project or at the end of the production on that episode, making visual assets, so audiograms for our social media or trailers, that sort of thing.
And that's becoming more and more part of what we do, isn't it? Because it's quite rare now that a client just has audio. You've got all those other aspects that go alongside it as well. What's the most popular social asset, promotional asset that you end up making?
I would say right now definitely the audiogram, which is usually a stationary piece of artwork with a moving waveform, and it's a clip from that podcast, probably 20 seconds in length, and it's just really about getting a really catchy, attention-grabbing or funny or exciting clip from the podcast that really hooks in the audience and gets people to stop scrolling on their Twitter or on their Instagram for 20 seconds and then click the link and check out the longer podcast.
And a bit like I said to Michaela, again, you work with all these producers across the board. How would you categorise the people in the team that you interact with on a daily basis?
Oh man, it's so varied, yeah. I mean, you go from somebody like Alex Kenning, who has a music DJ background and is kind of fantastic at weaving music all throughout his work. Someone like Martin, who has got that investigative journalism background, and then everyone in between as well. So it's great. And, people need different levels of support as well, and support in different areas. So it's knowing when to help, and it's also knowing the last thing I want to do is kind of cramp people's styles or get in the way. So it's also knowing when to think, okay, this producer knows exactly what they're doing with, editing or sound design or whatever it is. I'm just going to stand back and let them get on with it, and they'll tell me if they need help. But they really need help with with storage or with research or something like that, and knowing when to help with that.
And it would be easy for you to hide away and not have any client contact as well. But you do, don't you? You get involved with speaking to clients and working directly for them quite a lot too.
Yeah, I think particularly with things like delivering audiograms for them and social media assets, but also kind of providing stats reports and listener figures and things that a producer may not particularly specialize in, or they may be busy actually making the projects, and I can instead write up those reports. And it's nice, because you start to get to a stage where the client thinks, okay, well, I've got this producer and he's making the podcast for me, but I know that I come to Ollie for this or that, or there's a little query that I'm not sure who to come to with, so I'll just check with Ollie first. So it's nice being that first point of contact when you can, kind of help people out.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you.